Hello there, it's Jen, and it is Friday, February 21st. Welcome to my live. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a few weeks at least. Well, it's been more than a few weeks. It's been a month since I've been live, but I did have a couple of videos. And the reason I haven't been live is I've had a knee replacement surgery, and foolish me thinking that in 2 weeks I'd be back to normal. Not so much. And even today I'm here not having a nap and I'm not able to move around too much, so I've pre-done some of the embossing and things like that just because I gotta kind of tuck my leg and it kind of sticks out, all that stuff. But anyways, if you're here, let me know. If you're watching the replay, let me know. And I'm going to get started. Now, normally I do a draw for the cards that I made the week before, but I did not get that ready in time, so I will do that next week. So what I'll do is I'll do a bunch of draws next week, just so you're ready for it. So today, any comments that you make on this video, whether it's today or whether it's watching a replay, I'll do a draw for the card that I'm going to make today, okay? So what I want to do is, hello, Nicole, and thanks for the welcome back. I'm going to jump over to the craft desk here, and I'm going to just tuck my leg in here, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to work with today. It is this stamp set here called Spring Corners. Now, this was in my Friday, this or that. I was saying which one do you prefer, this one or another one that's unique with arches and stuff. So this one's kind of fun because it's got these stamps that are on angles like this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and then there's also a sort of a decorative piece there, and in the inside here, so I've got the dies that match. There are a bunch, so let's just pull this out here. There is one, this is upside down, but dies that'll cut out the balloons. There's like a circle and this, so you can make like a sun type of thing. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different, actually there's 3 because these two are the same, different corner pieces. And then there's another one which I have stuck in a die, which I'm going to show you in a second, which is the one I'm working with today. And then there's this little piece which would cut out this little piece. I'm actually dying to make a card with this because I think it's very sweet and small and beautiful. And then there's a bunch of other sayings too. You brighten my day, you amaze me, happy birthday, and there's a couple extra little hearts as well. So it's quite a fun little stamp set, and it's different, which is what someone commented on the this or that post that I had up yesterday. So, and if you're watching right now on my Facebook page, you can go back and just scroll back on my Facebook page and see what I was comparing. And if you're watching on my YouTube channel, you can jump over to my Facebook page and check that out. So let me show you what papers I've got here. I've got a piece of Lemon Lolly. This is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inches. I've got a piece of Basic Black that is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches. You see these are going to nest together like this. I've got a piece of Fresh Freesia, one of my favorite colors because it's purple, and this is 3 by 3. I've got a piece of Basic White that is 5 1/4 by 4, and a piece of Basic White that is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. I know I said that quickly, but you can always rewind the video. So this is the standard card measurement that I would do by just cutting an 8 1/2, and 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock in half, and I'll get 2 card bases. So that is our base. And what I did next, and like I said off the top, I did pre-do a few things just because moving around and jumping up and down is not as easy for me right now while my knee is still healing. I used this folder here. It's called the Starstruck Embossing Folder. It's one of the ones you can get for free during Celebration. So what I did was I took this piece, I put it into the folder. It's a really pretty one that will go with lots of different things. And then I ran it through the machine, and then I end up with this. I'm hoping you can see that. It's very pretty. Hello to June and Cal, and thanks, Nicole. She said, we missed you. Oh, that's so nice. So that piece is done. That piece is done. I'm going to set it aside. Then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of black right here, and I am going to take my embossing buddy. So this is a piece that comes with the Embossing Additions kit. It's good. It takes the static out of the paper before you're going to emboss. And I'm going to take my Basic White, or white I guess it's called now, and I'm going to ink that up. This is a pigment ink. It's the only ink that's a pigment ink in the Stampin' Up line, which means it's wet, which means you have to emboss it or dry it in some way. So I'm going to try and scooch in here as much as my leg will scooch, and I basically kind of just want to line those up. I love this corner thing. It's very cool. And I'm going to just push that down like that. And then I'm going to bring in my embossing powder. And I have just a coffee filter here. I have a tray, the part that comes with the embossing editions, but it currently has silver in it. So I'm using a coffee filter because I can just throw that out. Sprinkling white powder all over it, tapping it off, having a look. I'm going to take my heat tool. I'm going to turn it on, let it warm up for a few seconds, and then I'm going to emboss. So I'm not going to try and talk over the embossing. So here we go. Turn this off for a second so you can see. Hopefully you can see that the thank right there is much more bright because it's embossed. It's now that powder has melted, whereas the U is kind of still dull. So I'm going to finish this off now. So once you have embossed it, you want to stop. You don't want to go further because you can actually melt the powder. I actually think it started to right there. And as long as it doesn't look bumpy anymore and it's a little bit shiny now, that is embossed. And like I said, you can go too far, you can burn the embossing right off, or you can even burn your paper. So you don't want to do that. Now I'm going to take this coffee filter and I'm going to funnel that powder right back in there. And then you can use that again if you want, or you can just crumple it up and throw it away. So they're inexpensive. Okay, and we're ready to go. So that's the first part. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, I'll use that to dust off a little bit. Then I'm going to take, actually what I'm going to do, my brain is working because I haven't taken my pain meds, so my brain's working right now. I think it's working. Maybe it's not. I want to take this. I already embossed it, or I already die cut it, but I wanted to leave it here so you can see. This is the other die that comes in this set, and I actually want to grab here. I'm going in the reverse order here. What I want are all the leaves out of here. So I'm actually going to just, hopefully I can do this here. Just poke those out. That one is a leaf. Ta-da. I don't want those other bits and pieces. And here, I just want all the parts that are leaves. And so that one here. And all these up here. It will become clear in a moment what I'm doing. There's another one. Okay, so I'm just looking here. And those are all petals. Okay, so this piece here, so let me just move all this. Actually, I won't move it yet because I want to tell you something. I'm going to put it on here like this. Put a piece of tape on it. So this is just removable tape. You could use washi tape, whatever you want. This I like this because it doesn't mess up the paper. And then on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I'm using plate 1, plate 2, plate 3, this, and this. And so when I'm finished, what I'm going to end up with is this, except for it would be embossed. Okay, so I didn't do that right, but that's okay. We'll just use this one. And let me just move some stuff out of the way. So I'm going to end up with this, and you can just use the tool here to poke through any bit. So of course you would have our embossing on there. I've got another one that's actually partially done here. So okay, and then what I would do, there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. Fran says I did inlay work with wood. It was so fun. That is exactly what this is inlay. But I'm going to show you at the end how I did it first, which was not like that. And you can tell me what you think is easier. I think this might look better, although it is a little bit more work. So I'm just going to put some tape here. That's really not going to go. Let's get this out of the way. And I was actually thinking while I was off work, staring at the walls, this is just our fine tip glue pen. I'm just putting glue around the edges there. This is going to go on here like this. That I need to redo this space a little bit because I'm always struggling with how small this area is. I mean, it doesn't look small to you, but I'm literally crowded in here in this little wee spot. So I think I might have to redo my room because it's always a thing that bothers me. So you may have noticed that I've done a couple little videos on TikTok while I was off, just because I could do those on my phone. And I had set up in here, and that was when I noticed again how small that space was, because I was finding it hard to get my leg in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I have gone ahead and run that same die through. I don't know where I put it. I should have put it away. Probably somebody was yelling at me, put that die away so you don't lose it. But I didn't. Hopefully it's in my thing. We'll find it. It'll be here somewhere. So I did run through the die with two other colors, first of all. So you can see them in here probably. They are the Lemon Lolly. So I did that, and I just put a little bit of glue down there, and I'm going to do that. And also the Soft Seafoam. So I'm going to just pick up those pieces and put them in. Obviously those are pretty easy. So let me just show you here what I've got on the go here. This one. So I was experimenting with a few different things. And like I said, I've got one to show you at the end. You can see here that well, maybe you can't, but I'll hold it up so you can see. So I've added the Lemon Lolly. Let me just finish this one off. So my brain completes the task here. This one's really tiny. You can see I'm using my Take a Pick tool and the, I don't know, sticky end. See, my brain isn't working. The gummy end to pick those up works really well. So let me just hold this up. So what I did was I actually colored those with a blends marker, and it just looked really dull because it was on the paper, and it just on the purple paper, the fresh freesia paper, it just didn't look good. So these ones are actually placed in. So I did, so you don't have to place in the petals, of course, because the petals are part of that paper. So you want to pick which is the most color that has the most inlay that you would have to do, and use that for your backing. So I decided that the petals were the most, and that the leaves were something I could handle. So, but now I got all these bits because I've done it. I've run it through twice now, and I've only laid in a few of them. So I've got to figure out what goes where. So I may or may not finish this with you guys, but I'll just do one here to show you. This looks like a match. So it's a little bit fiddly. So this may not be your cup of tea, this kind of fiddle stuff. Yeah, that looks like a close enough match to me. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. I want to do this big one over here. This one's bothering me. And stick that in. I think I just flipped that over, didn't I? So, like I said, I will show you my other one that I did that is a better match. If you like doing puzzles, this may be really up your alley. So I'll never find that one now that I put glue on it. Oh, actually, it looks like it might be this one. I'm hoping I'm not off camera here. It looks like it might be this one. But the other way around. I personally do not like doing puzzles. I am far too impatient to do puzzles. But I know lots of people do. So, okay, you get the idea. So you can see there's one done there and bunch. So we'll leave it like that, but because I can finish this anytime, right? But at least you get the illusion of that. So very pretty it is. Left it on the black cardstock. Yes, you could do that too. There are so many ways you can do this. It's, you know, you could have a black silhouette. You could have it so that it's all one color. So there's lots of ways you can do this. I actually really can't wait to play more with this stamp set so I can show you a bunch of cool things. Just with this piece alone, I can think of a million things to do. But let's continue on here, and I'll finish this piece after. I'm going to mount it onto the Lemon Lolly. And in my original one, it was the Lemon Lolly was the piece that I did underneath, which you'll see again in a minute. Oh my goodness, dropping everything. So I'm just going to add some dimensionals on here. Of course, there seems to be a pet hair of some sort already on here. A few times I've come into my office and my pets are lounging on all my stuff. I did have one picture in my newsletter. Hopefully you saw that. The cat's in my photo booth and on my table, and I just thought it was a free-for-all when I wasn't here. Does anyone who have pets have that happen to them? Pet hair all over everything. That one doesn't want to go. I know it's not mine because it's black. Okay, so that's going to go on here like this. So pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to put it on this piece here, the embossed piece. Oh, tape. run out. Oh, better not lose that green piece. Might need those green ones after. I'll put on a good song and I'll finish putting that piece together after. That'll make it go. Okay. You left your die on the black cards. Oh, thank you. All right, now I understand, Fran, what you're saying. Okay, thank you for that. It must be, it's around somewhere. Oh, yes, here it is. Aren't you smart, Fran? Thank you. Putting that, oh, right there so I can see it. Okay, then I'm going to take some of this ribbon. Now, this is, again, a celebration item. This is Fresh Freesia seam binding ribbon. It's very pretty, super easy to tie. And because I got it for free, I feel like I can just make a nice big bow with it. So here we go. So celebration, of course, ends at the end of February. So if there's anything you want there, and they did add some new things, so it's not just what's in the brochure. Okay, so I'm going to tie a nice big loopy bow. I always leave it on the spool so I don't waste it on that end. And some ribbon scissors. I'm trimming it on an angle. Make it a little nicer, a little tighter. Okay, and then I'm going to add it onto here. I actually need some thank you cards. So, I mean, obviously I'm making this one for you guys for the draw next week. Let's just make sure that's straight. But I'm going to make a couple more of these. Oh, look at that. This piece of cardstock is not the right size. Or this one is not the right size. One of them is not the right size. Hold on. Let me grab another piece. So this is a bonus lesson. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock cut at 5.5. I don't know where I have the blocks there. I don't need the block today. Only one color, white. So just cut it in half and that's your card base. Let us see which is the wrong size. If it's this one. Oh, now I gotta tuck my leg back under. Oh, scoot. There we go. The other reason I found it hard to get in here to do lives is I can't seem to have my leg down for any length of time before it starts to throb. Okay, so it was my base that was the wrong size. So I can't, yeah, about half an hour is my max. So in order to create something and then actually do a live, it was just been a little bit much for me, but I thought I could handle it today. So here we go. Okay, so tying that nicer, and I'm going to again trim those ends. Very pretty, almost Eastery with the colors, but I think more spring. But of course, let's add a little bit of bling to it. So this is my gems from Celebration 2 Purple adhesive back sequins. So there's Bubble Bath, Berry Burst, Fresh Freesia, and then a white with kind of a pearlescent hint to it. So I'm going to add these in here. And they've got adhesive on them, so they're perfect. I'll do one more big one up here. And like I said, this will be much prettier when I get the inlaid all finished. But how beautiful is that? Nicole loves the big loopy bow, and it's so pretty because it's still very soft and subtle. You can see I'm touching it like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Okay, so thanks again, friend, for rescuing me, finding where I left that. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to leave this up here so you can remember how this looked. So I've just got to go ahead and inlay these pieces in here into this like that. Okay, so here is my first one I did. So at first glance, it might look exactly the same, but if I hold this up, hopefully you'll be able to see. Now I did color that little one because I lost it, but I'll probably find it again and stick it in there. So this is not inlaid. What it is, I think I'm actually going to pull it off to show you. Because I can always put it back on again. If you ever have to pull anything up, again, bonus lesson, go around each of the corners and pull up each of the corners first, because it is easier to pull. And if I'm going to rip anything, it's better if I rip it in the middle, because the middle is not really visible. So it's a bit funny because of how I've done it. I think you'll be able to see enough. Actually, I'm going to just maybe pull this back here like this. There we go. So see what I've done here? I've taken little wee bits and I've laid them on over top of where the things go. So I started with the green, the soft sea foam, and I just layered them down. So you can actually see there's a tiny seam right there. There's a seam a more ugly seam right there, so I don't love that one. And then all I left blank was the centers of the flowers. And then I used the yellow, the lemon lolly, and then you can see through and actually kind of almost 3D, which is kind of cool. But I do think that this technique is a little cleaner looking. And then I was able to pop it all up on dimensionals, whereas here I had like a mound of cardstock and I just used dimensionals on those 3 corners. So I think I probably will just redo that whole piece. You know, I'm going to just tear it right off so you can see how I did it. And so from the front, it doesn't look too bad actually. If you look really close, you can see some of the seams. So tell me what you think. This is easier in a way because I just kept cutting scraps and laying them down. So if I saw, like, see this little piece here, there's a little spot there where the green would, where you need to put some of the purple, I would just lay it on like that. I would add a little bit of tape on the previous layer and then just lay it on, and then that would cover up the purple. So, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. This one's a little more tedious, but it's going to look way more professional in the end. But it would also be nice if you just tuck a piece of purple under there and just left it purple. It would be pretty pretty like that too. Okay, let's see what you say. I love a good puzzle. Okay, Cal, awesome. June loves the technique. Nicole loves the bow. Marg will have to try this. Mark says, thank you. You're very welcome. So yeah, so that's a fun stamp set. Let me just pull this back in here and we'll pull this off so you can see it all here. So yeah, so you could do all sorts of fun things with these. You could just leave them so that they're, you know, just show through whatever color. You could put different colors underneath. You could do multiple pieces. They don't have to be corners. They could be just inset pieces on a card. Like you could actually frame something with one of these. So I think there's lots of fun things you can do with these dies. But the stamp set itself is pretty cute with the way the words go. So I'm quite loving that. I've actually got another card that I've made that I can't show you yet because my team, we do these fun little play date things where we get together online and we do stuff. And so I made a card for that. That I'm going to present to my team. So after I've presented it to my team, then I'll show it to you guys. So I'll be able to do that. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me today and coming back to me after all this time. I will get caught up on emails and draws and all the other things. Thank you for your patience. So wishing you all a wonderful weekend and thanks again for joining me. I'll see you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye now.